that's come to light. I know my father had said it many times before, but it's never really sunk into me that he moved into 123 Derwent Street with his parents in 1915. So this is 2013. In 2 years, the Strange family will have been there 100 years in that house. And I'm over the moon about that. To think that Cherie's living there as well.
Is she going to live there, is she?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, is she there already?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
she moved there in December.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Her and the fella that she's with, Nick, his name is.
Yeah.
And it's their home.
Oh.
And I know that Mum particularly, but Mum and Dad, would be over the moon.
Oh, yes.
To know that they are living there.
I thought, I knew it, but the house was over 100 years old.
I think it's about, and I don't know why, I think it's about 100.
And he said it was marked on it the year, and it was well over 100 years. It must have been the first lot of early houses going up in that area.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah.
And he did it for nothing because he collected taps.
Ah, that's great.
Yeah. So the tap that's there is a modern tap.
Yeah, well, it's been replaced again.
Has it?
Yeah. It got that way when we were trying to fix the house up. You couldn't turn the tap on and off properly. It all became loose. And that's the main tap from the street.
Oh.
So you can't just pull it off because there's nowhere to turn the water off. But we had some work done by a plumber and he replaced that tap. He had to do the work.
Yeah.
But anyway, apart from that, the grave that we went to, what was his first name? Robert, okay. He was
Robert Gregory. Ryman's called after him, Ryman Gregory.
Right.
And then Robert Gregory is Geary, he's called after him. Yeah. And John Gregory. So they all kept the family name. Not only because it was his, but it was his mother's maiden name.
Well, okay, do you know Dick's son's name's Gregory?
Is it?
Yeah.
That's his second name.
No, it's his first name, Gregory Strange. So I don't know whether that ties up or not.
It's a very old English name, Gregory.
Yeah. Okay, do you have any idea of, he was born in Ivanhoe in England, written on the plaque.
Yes.
How did he get from England to Australia? He would have come out on a ship.
He was a chronic asthmatic, as his father was also. And his parents, they weren't short of, they apparently were quite comfortable. They weren't short of money, and they told him that perhaps if he came out and tried Australia, the weather would be drier and might help his asthma, which he didn't. And he came out, and on the boat he met a man called Walter Brett, an Englishman, and he was coming out to Sydney to join the police force. And they became lifelong friends.
Brett, is it? B-R-E-T?
Brett. And they live in the street where the cemetery is. That's Cressy Road. Well, they live in the end of Cressy Road, and there's some of them still there. There's one man the same age as me, I'm 92. He's 92, and he was a great-grandson of the original family. And he came out and as a pater. He was always referred to as the pater when they spoke of their mother and father, the pater and the mater. And, the pater came out on the same ship as Mr. Brett. And when he got to Perth, whether he was aware that how far it was from where he was planning to come, we don't know. But he went and bought a block of land and paid for it. And for all the years until I moved here, we had that document. It was of no value anymore, but Auntie, in one of her clean-up, fits that she'd get now and again, she burnt it.
Ooh.
Yeah, she threw it in the bin and burnt it. Anyhow, he bought the block of land, And the family, or when they had the family, they went to live in Forest Lodge in Lodge Street.
Yeah. No,
And on the back of his photo is Mrs. Parsons, that she must have paid for the photo, and he put Mrs. Parsons Lodge Street. It was a studio photo.
Yeah.
You know.
Mum had a lot done at Broadway from a studio there that's on a lot of her photos, the same studio.
Yeah. Anyhow, when he got to Sydney, of course, he met my grandmother. She was here with two sisters, the three girls. Their mother had remarried and was starting another family. So the three girls come out here to Woolloomooloo, where their mother's sister and her husband had a hotel. And that's where she was married from, that hotel. And there's a photo there of the man himself. He looks like the proprietor of a hotel. He's got a huge stomach and a big beard. I'll get it out for next time you come.
Have you got many photos?
Yes, I've got lots of photos. Yes.
Okay, what we've done, and we've done it with my mother and with Carol's mother, is we've got the video camera and set it up and pull out the photos, not particularly in any order or anything,
Yes.
but put them up in front of the video camera.
Oh, yes.
And you can talk about them. You can say this was my
Yes,
grandfather when he
yes,
owned the
yes.
pub and things like that. And it makes a different side of the history of those hard copy for the photos.
That's right.
So maybe next time we come down, if you
Yes,
want, we can
yes.
organise that and we can come here and do it.
Well, I've got everything that was ever come into that house in Roselle. When I brought Phyllis and Chrissy to live with me, I was in the new house for about 2 years when Ted went in to see them one day and came back and said, Edna, we can't leave those two ladies in that house anymore. It's falling to pieces. It wasn't their house, they were paying rent.
Yeah.
But the woman who had owned it, she'd never done anything for it. They paid their rent every week, you know, and never once did she ever do anything. If anything went wrong with the electricity, Aunty Chrissy paid for it, because she was the one that was working on it.
Is this the house in the main street there, in
It's
Victoria Road?
Still there.
Yeah, I
Still
know.
there. And the people whose grandfather built it live next door, the Baxter family. And there's still members living there.
Do you know the number of it? Do you know the number?
The number of the house?
Yeah.
232 Victoria Road, Roselle,
There we are.
is the number of the house.
Yeah.
And then the Baxters live next door to them.
And where did you live then? You lived in Roselle in a different
I lived there. I was born in Glebe, in Ferry Road. You know the little
where Mum
cottages?
was?
Those little cottages?
Yeah, Mum was born. Well, I don't know whether she was born there.
23, no.
23.
Your mother was born in Orange.
That's right, yeah. But she lived at 23
But
Ferry
she
Road.
lived in there because in 1923 my mother died and left my father and her father, Izzard, Joseph Izzard. He was boarding with them and they lived there. And when my mother died, there was my father stuck with two little, I was a year old and Raymond was 5. And so his widowed mother took us over there with him and we stayed there till my father died and I bought a house, built a house and then I come over here. But everything, all the photos that were taken, Aunty Chrissy had a Brownie box camera and when she went away anywhere, you know, she went to Perth and Adelaide and that, she always brought back the photos. Well, didn't matter who was here in the house, they always seemed to get their photo taken. And there's hundreds of them. Well, when we brought them to come and live with us there, we put another extension on the back and they lived there quietly.
Yeah, they had a granny flat on the back of their house where they
yes.
lived over here. What was the address over there?
30 Acacia Avenue. 30 Acacia Avenue. It's pulled down now and there's a big massive mansion.
Oh, well, okay,
No.
I'm glad
And
you
a
told us
swimming
that.
pool. A swimming pool as well.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I remember that house well.
Yes, it was a very nice house.
Yeah, and I went there a lot when I was
Yeah,
in.
it was double brick. It was a double brick house. It had everything in it. And then when Aunty Chrissy was crippled with arthritis, she was a music teacher and she couldn't work anymore and that. Well, when she died, Phyllis was just there on her own, and she died in 1980. May, this week in fact, on the 17th of May, 1980 she died. And then Ted and I were back on our own again after the boys had got married and everything. And then I decided I knew I couldn't keep the big yard going and all the gardens and that, so I decided to look for something near in my area where I'd
Familiar with?
kind of grown up with all these nice neighbours and people, you know, and the doctor and everything else. And they got this built on the end of that house on the corner. This is their backyard. That's how I come to have that horrible thing there. That wasn't there when I built it. And, you know, I've been quite happy here. For the first time in my life I was living alone. I've never been alone before. And once Ted went, of course. And then all his whole family died in Forest Lodge. I lived up in overlooking the dogs, as we used to call it, Harold Park.
Yeah.
Their house is up on top, one of those little cottages
At the top there.
there. Well, one of the
That's all being rebuilt now, you know, Harold Park. All they're building.